also takes longer to read the Bible than other books because you have to. It's not just a story. It's also you have to apply that to your life. So you have to read what you read, and you have to apply that to your life too.
And then after,
you always get tested on what you read. You're always tested on what you read.
That's so true. You actually like have to sit and try it, read it, highlight it, all of that good stuff. Right. So I mean, but that's what studying it is. Like, you know, I've heard people who are trying to argue scripture with me, and I'm not saying that as if I know all the scriptures, but they trying to argue scripture with me, and they're like, oh, well, I read this scripture and it says this and this and that. I'm like, that is not the context of what that scripture means. You just read it. Like, you didn't actually think about it, and you didn't actually read 2 pages before it or a sentence below it, because if you did, you would have realized that that is not what that means at all. So I think that's the difference in studying it and just reading it, you know.
There's also like 7 levels and layers of revelation. So I can read scripture today, go through life's challenges, read that same scripture a month later, and it has a whole different meaning. Cool? That's why it's called a living word. Yeah. It literally, that is so cool. Yeah, isn't that cool? But my question is, Dana, do you find, you know, it being challenging to keep up that consistency, or have you found challenges now while you're reading the Bible, while you're on this quest?
Well, I can't even lie and say that it's been an easy journey, because especially for me, because I'm younger, I'm 12 years old, but it's harder for me because it's harder to maintain a relationship with God while you're still living here and while you're still living in the world, and it's hard to separate living in the world from living in the world, you know? It's hard to separate, partaking in actions and doing what your friends are doing and doing what you see that people are doing, even your role models in your life. It's hard to separate that stuff from what you need to be doing, you know?
And Royce be eating. She be eating us all up. She makes us all look horrible.
Because even me right now, I like being the, what did you call it, insightful one, but even me right now, I can't even say that my journey with God has been so smooth, because it really hasn't. Like, currently in my life right now,
what you got going on in your life, girl?
I feel like I'm just now getting out of the season of my life where I feel like I was so far away from God. Yeah. And I felt like I was just falling into the deep end with my relationship with God. Yeah. You know? Because it was like, even, I can't even blame it on school, because it was even before I started school. It was even before I started school. It was just like, you know, it was hard to separate my life from what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah. But I really had to take into consideration, and I can't even, like, now today, I can't even go out and hang out with my friends anymore without thinking, like, is this really what I'm meant to be doing right now? Mm-hmm. Because I had to really reevaluate myself and reevaluate my life, and think, like, the only reason why we're here on earth right now is to glorify God. Mm-hmm.